I'm going to read a couple testimonials. These things are motivational, inspirational, and they're helping a lot of people with, we're getting some comments here right online. Hopefully people can hear okay.
Sounds good to be told.
All right. This is from Carolina, and they write, both being overweight and out of shape, I was looking for a way to turn both issues around. I have a quality treadmill, but have never been able to keep up with it due to pain in my feet, knees, or back, and I was looking for an alternative. The Cellerciser is all that they say it is. I started 6 weeks ago at less than 5 minutes a day, and am now up to 20 minutes daily. I've had no injuries from rebounding, but did break my pinky toe when not on the rebounder. And I was able to find positions to work out on the rebounder in a matter of days, even though it was I was still walking with a limp. I can relate to that. I've had plenty of broken bones, and the Cellerciser is one of the only exercises out there that can help you heal faster, where you can still do exercises where knee problems and hip problems or back problems, typical exercise might not have worked. It says, I've seen the benefit of better skin tone, less facial wrinkles, better cardio. I doubled the mileage I was able to walk the dog in less than 2 weeks on the rebounder, and increased muscle. I have suffered from plantar fasciitis for years, and have found that Cellercising barefoot has strengthened my feet, and I do not have any symptoms anymore. I am no longer stiff when I get out of bed in the morning and get up walking like I did 15 years ago. I did not start watching calories until the last 3 weeks, and though my clothes fit better prior to that. I don't believe I lost any weight those first weeks. Now that I am watching calories as well, I am constantly losing 2 or more pounds a week without starving. We put the Cellerciser in the family room so that we can use it while watching TV. Ditto. While I am the biggest user of this, both my teenage daughters and husband will use it too. I want to read one more, and then we're going to talk to Christine about some of the favorite ones that she's also picked out. But thank you for sharing these. It makes a big difference to the Cellercise family. We've had some great responses. It's very encouraging. It says, received my Cellerciser on Thursday, the first day of my expected delivery date range, and was rebounding that night. Since I've been rebounding on a bungee-based model for the last 3 years, my body is already used to the movement. The problem was I was trying to do David's exercises on it the whole time without the same spongy energy on the return or mat tension, which is a comfortable, flexible firmness. I rebound barefoot and my feet love it. It is hard to describe. I do not feel my brain hitting my skull like with my first spring-based model. I love the Cellerciser. I had hit a plateau as far as weight loss was concerned. My scales moved on Saturday. I feel like things are flowing again. In a good way. I love that I can jog on this and do all of David's exercises effectively. The mat surface is actually bigger than the bungee model. I just feel more going on in my body than with the other rebounder. No pronating going on either. I do feel in my body after I've done my 10 minutes that I'm done for the day and can mark exercise off my list. I have not heard even one squeak on it either, and it's been 6 days thus far, and I've been giving it a workout. I've been super productive at work too. Mental clarity, spring in my step, completing task after task, super organized, and sleeping really well. If this is just after 6 days, I can't wait to see what another 30 days does for me. I took before pictures and measurements too. Thank you for that. We'll post an updated review when I have measurable results that are visible to the eye. I was afraid I'd be sorry to have spent that much money on another rebounder when I already had one, but I am so glad I did. On the bungee-based model, trying to jog was exhausting and unfulfilling. This just feels good. It's the newest model with the black carrying bag, etc. I keep the other one for bouncing only in another room, but for my main workout space and allotted exercise time, the Cellerciser is the one. I want to thank you for sharing that. And yes, the Cellerciser has enough resistance. It's not too soft. If it's too soft, you wouldn't have the support needed to do the different movements and to get the benefits. It's that support or resistance that causes the valves to open and shut and to break up heavy metals, toxins, poisons, open up the lymphatic channels, and open up circulatory channels, and as well as having it be weight bearing so that muscle mass and bone density can increase in strength. Christine, how you doing this week?
Much better this week since I took a step back. That was hard for me. I think the Jamba Run was a bit more than, even though I could do it, it wasn't what my body needed at the time. And so with your suggestion on drawing back and doing a more simple routine, I have felt so much better. And so it's obvious that when you start to feel your body tell you to stop, you need to listen and stop just a little bit and back up and start, not even start over, but just go back to the basics even for a couple days. Let your body heal a little bit and then move forward slowly. So thank you for that advice.
You bet. What we're going to do, we're going to go over the basic program that I've shared with Christine again tonight. So I'll start you from the very beginning of what we want to do, and then we'll take you through the steps. But one of the reasons I have been reluctant to create a DVD that is a follow along is because, frankly, for most people, it's not effective, and it doesn't last very long anyway. You're going to be changing, and for me to do an exercise routine and expect everybody to come up to that level, that's not fair to you. My objective is to come down to your level and then help lift you up. And the way that we're doing that is the Mr. Rebounder app. Now, I know there's several of you, like me, who are waiting for that to be introduced, and we expected it to be introduced this week. The changes that I'd requested be made by our programmers didn't get made, and so I was not able to test it out over the weekend. I am going to be meeting with them tomorrow so that we can get this wrapped up. And again, that Mr. Rebounder app is going to allow you to pick from over 30 different pre-made routines, starting from beginning, intermediate, advanced, seniors, or you can create your own. So we're real excited about it. It's this close. There were a couple things I said needed to be changed that were not correct, and that's all we're waiting on. So I'll be meeting with the technicians again tomorrow, and hopefully I'll have some good news that we can post online.
Okay.
All right, Christine.
All righty, so let's get into some questions. Are you ready for this?
Let's do it.
Okay. All righty. So there are a lot of people that are curious about why you don't recommend doing jumping jacks on the Cellerciser.
Great. Good question. The reason is that when you do jumping jacks on the Cellerciser, you're going to land very close to the springs every time you do. If you land too close to the springs, it can actually fracture a spring, and eventually that spring could break. That's one of the only two ways that I've known of that can actually break the springs. And it may not happen initially. It may happen somewhere down the road. So I designed in our DVD, our exercise program, how to do a glorified jumping jack that doesn't land on or near the springs. And that simply, and I'll kick my shoes off here, is to, again, thank you, to do the similar movement, but only one leg goes out at a time. Now you can start off by doing it this way, but as you become a little more comfortable with it, and as your balance naturally improves, your arms can go up and down over your head this way. And this is a glorified jumping jack. You can even kick your legs out behind you as you're doing it. And that's going to give you all the same benefit, but it's not going to compromise the spring.
Okay. All righty. Thank you for answering that.
You bet.
Okay. Let me put these on. Sorry. I'm waiting for my eyes to improve. That's going to be a long wait. All righty. Has anyone had any improvement for sciatic nerve with Cellercise workouts?
Lots of people. In fact, there's a technique, again, I'll just leave these off.
Just leave those off.
I agree. A technique that I teach on our video, or Cellercise the Ultimate Exercise, that involves the twisting motion, which helps to loosen up all the muscles around the hip area and the lower back. And then we get to the point where instead of twisting at the waist, we keep our waist straight ahead. We lift the heels up and down and twist right in the hip socket area. And this helps to loosen up Stress, tension, increased circulation, increased space, and strength, all in that hip area. It's very effective.
Okay, all righty. Okay, I liked this one because I actually can relate to this. And you may just answer what I told people, but they'd probably like to hear it from you. How is it that I seem to feel more refreshed when doing a lighter workout than when doing an intense one?
You know, when you do an intense workout, you're challenging your body more intensely. One of the neat things about Cellercise, and I first noticed, I was playing on it. The very first month that I had and started to develop my routines, in the very first month, I dropped a belt notch, and my wife said I looked like I was lifting weights because my arms looked bigger. And I didn't even take it seriously. I was just playing around on it. And that's one of the reasons we came up with the phrase, why work out when you can play in? You don't have to make it hard on the body. You don't have to work on it. Play on it. It works on you automatically. So although we can increase the intensity depending upon how fast we want the body to adapt, we can also just play on it and find that our intensity will naturally increase as we become more capable. And it's a natural process. So it's a little different than what we've been taught in having to tear down to build up when we don't really have to.
Okay, so our next question is, will you ever create a Cellerciser with a larger jumping surface? And then someone even said, how about a smaller? So why don't you let them know why you made it the way you did?
We designed it so that one size fits all feet. We've even got a customer of ours who is with the Miami Heat, Carlos Branscombe, a big basketball player. His feet are twice the size mine are, and I've got pretty good sized feet. They're size 11. But if you go, the wider out you go, the less support you have in the middle. That's the bottom line. So like on a big trampoline, they're very wide, and your feet are going to definitely pronate, and that's just what you're going to go through. The same thing on smaller trampolines. The wider out you go, the less support you have in the middle. The objective is to avoid pronating of the feet every time you land. If it's too soft or has too much space, your feet will pronate. And when they pronate like this over and over, when you land on it, especially when you jump high, when you jump higher and then come down with pronation eventually, and we hear this all the time with these mini trampolines that are out there on the market, people start to complain about ankle problems, knee problems, hip problems. It may not occur initially, but over a period of time when you land like this, that's when it starts to become a problem. I've been Cellercising for 30 years. I do it every single day. My ankles, my knees, my hips, my back, they're not a problem. They're better. They're far better than they've ever been because the Cellerciser is designed to support your skeletal alignment and support you in the different movements that you can do on the Cellerciser.
Okay, so I noticed you put a discount online. So why don't you tell them about the discount that's good till the 15th of this week?
Okay, happy Valentine's Day to all of our Facebook family Cellercise members. We've got a $40 discount that we've made available. And Christine, what is the code?
Love.
L-O-V-E. Love. And it's appropriate because that's what the Cellerciser family is all about, supporting and helping each other to get results, to achieve results. And if you get discouraged, well, we're here to help lift you up. Remember, it's again, and I've said it before, it's not the destination that we're really interested in. It's the journey to the destination. We'll get there. That'll happen as long as we're taking the gradual steps to reach the end result. But we want to enjoy the process. Enjoy what you're doing, how you're feeling, and what you're going through as you reach toward that goal or objective. It's great to have a goal or objective, but far too often the goal or objective becomes our focus to such an extent that we forget to enjoy the journey. And we want you to enjoy the journey too.
All right. So there have been a few that have been asking about the eye problems, and I just want to mention that we talked about that in week 6. So we're going to kind of leave it at that. If you're curious about, how to improve or, strengthen your eyes, watch week 6 because you went into quite detail with that. Good. So I just wanted to make a mention of that. But here's a couple other questions. What is the best move for glutes Is it the back kick or
Oh, yeah.
show
Yeah.
them how this is done?
Okay, there's a couple things. Obviously, the Jamba Run is going to be, and do you want me to go over that now? The
You
Jamba
know,
Run?
that was
Because-
also a question in there as well. How do
Let's
you
do that.
exactly do the Jamba Run effectively?
Right.
And so they can see your feet and your movement. So
Let's talk about the Jamba Run. The Jamba Run, to do it effectively, we don't want to lean forward. In fact, for those of you who are watching who want to participate, if you stand up right now, just for a moment, just stand up. Take your hands, put them on top of your thigh. I want you to just stand straight up and feel your thigh. Feel the muscle. Hold on to the muscle with your fingertips. Now, while you're holding on to it, bend at the knee. Keep your back straight. Feel how tight those muscles are right now. They're working. Continue to hold on to those muscles. Now, lean forward and tell me how the muscles feel now, because they're going to be softer. We've taken the weight off of the thighs, we've put it on the back. Football players do a technique where they get up on the balls of their feet and they run really, really fast right next to the ground. Well, that's cheating because it takes the weight off the thighs. You can't do the Jamba Run virtually any other way than on a Cellerciser, or you'd hurt your back. But the Cellerciser gives you the resistance and the support. So what we do is we keep our back straight, our feet flat, we bend at the knee slightly, and what we're going to do is we're not even lifting our feet up off the mat hardly at all. This is a Jamba walk. It's great. It starts to strengthen the supporting muscles in the knee, in the whole front part of the knee. But the Jamba Run, we keep our back straight, feet flat, and it's just like this. Now, when you start off doing it, your ligaments and tendons may not be strong enough yet to handle that. That's okay. When you're done with the first set, you stand there, lift the heels up and down, pumps the calf muscle, or do a twist, or do some other movement while you're catching your breath, and then do it again. That burns a lot of calories. It also increases metabolic processes. Your heart rate will go up, you'll increase more oxygen, and all of that is involved in being able to increase metabolic processes and burn calories.
okay, so the glutes, that's good. Or is there one other one that
Yes.
might even be better for the glutes?
Well, a lot of these will actually work with the glutes too. But the way that I did that was you can hold onto the bar with both hands if you want, or one hand. And if you were to, in a lot of calisthenic type movements, they limit the body's movement to specific muscle groups. The rest of the body's not really working. Cellercise is different. Even though you're doing what I call the calisthenics, the entire body as a whole is expanding and contracting over 100 times a minute with weight on it. So if I lift my leg back and forth like this, that does some work, and it's all in the glute area right there. But when you Cellercise, you're going to increase the weight to this muscle with the bouncing while you lift your leg up. And the entire body has weight on it. Every muscle, bone, connective tissue, ligament, tendon, skin, collagen, everything, over 100 times a minute. So we never limit the effect. The entire body is collectively involved, even though we focus on this area simply by kicking our legs behind us. And as we kick our legs behind us, we're working the lower back and the buttocks. Every time we come down, the legs going up, that's more weight. Don't overdo it. Start off easy. With many people, most people, this area we have found is fairly weak. They're not doing much to strengthen this area when they start. So what they're going to look like is they think they're leaning forward and lifting up here. In reality, they're lifting here. So those muscles are too weak, and that's okay. So they're basically doing this. As you get stronger, the leg comes out further, and you're going to have more weight there.
Perfect.
But start off easier. You don't want to irritate a nerve, or you want to build it up. Start off easy. Have fun.
Okay, so I have a friend who has a frozen shoulder. This is the question. Will the Cellerciser be of any help for this friend?
We've had a lot of people, I can't say specifically it will or won't, but I can show you what I've taught doctors and physical therapists that have been phenomenal. It's helped my shoulders tremendously. And these are movements that are actually in the DVD. And I think we should do them regularly anyway. But taking the elbows, sticking them in front, moving up and down, all the muscles, the pumping action is taking the tissue and massaging it, increasing circulation, reducing inflammation, and strengthening because it's weight bearing. So we hold our elbows in front of us for a few moments. If you have a really weak shoulder, you can support it with your hand and gently lift it up until you feel, safe. You can lift up both elbows, put them out to the side, and then put them back in front of you again. So you have this movement in kind of a circular movement that you can do that is designed to help open up the shoulders. And you do this for a few moments. And if you take your fingertips and you squeeze these muscles and you feel the dynamic, it's huge. I don't know of anything that is going to pump those shoulders like the Cellerciser. It's a wonderful thing. We've known people who in just a week, in 1 week, have had incredible movement in their shoulder and they didn't before.
Okay.
So
Perfect. All righty. Okay, so my mom has polio in both legs and has type 1 diabetes, so she's in a wheelchair. I brought my Cellerciser, and basically she thought maybe she could get her up on it and realized that wasn't going to happen. So she wheels her over and puts her feet on the pad and jumps. Is this effective at all for her mother?
phenomenal. Remember, the lymphatic system and circulatory system is the weakest area of circulation in our bodies in the lower extremities. The lymphatic system begins in the toes and the fingertips and other extremities of the body, and they work their way up to other small lymph vessels, kind of like the branches of an oak tree working their way backwards toward the trunk. Well, as we get on a Cellerciser and we put our feet on the Cellerciser, we start to move up and down, the pressure changes from her feet is acting like a second heart. It's pumping. And the pumping action helps to move the fluid through the one-way valves back up to the heart. That increase of circulation starts to create pressure changes that work through the entire body. And that circulation is the key to promoting wellness and health.
Okay. So I think, let's see, this last one here, could you please provide any suggestions for herniated discs in the neck and back? And isn't it just basically those opening up?
Yes,
A lot of
the
those.
vertebral joints.
Yeah, the vertebral joints. Okay.
And that's good because last week I stopped when I was going to share with you some neck exercises that
Let's do that.
I've designed on the Cellerciser. And they start off by placing the fingertips directly at the top, close to where the atlas is, that supports your skull. And with those fingertips there, we start to do little circular motions so that we can help release the stress and tension while we gently move up and down so that we pump circulation and reduce, again, the inflammation. Our objective is to increase circulation to the disc. So the disc, with the increased circulation, like a sponge getting water, can start to fill again. It's called imbibition, or imbibing the disc with synovial fluid. That increased circulation can help take the pressure off the nerves. So the gentle massage while we're moving up and down has to begin. Now we can work down the neck, and as we get to a point, and they're graduated steps, we can start to drop the head one way and then the other way. And we may even feel, as we're pushing a little bit on the vertebral joints, just slightly, we may hear them crack or pop or move back into position. Then we take our hand, put them over the top of our head, gently pull to the right, and gently bounce. Don't overstretch, you don't need to. The moment we feel some stretch, we stop. Allow the movement of the Cellercise to massage that tension away while we open up the muscles and the ligaments, increase flexibility, and increase circulation. Then we do the same thing with the other side. And this is one step. Another step would be to take the hand, turn your head toward your shoulder, reach over the head, gently tilt it down. Do that for a few moments. And then in between each section, it's a good idea to gently massage with your fingertips. And then this side, same way. And then massage with the fingertips. And then in the upper back, and we demonstrated this recently, is you take your arm, put it underneath by your elbow, put your hand on your shoulder if you can, and you're just going to kind of pull a little bit and gently bounce. And that's going to help open up the shoulder area. You can put your other hand here if you want. You give yourself a bear hug. Nothing wrong with that. And then you switch and do the same thing on the other arm. And as you gently pull, you'll feel that stretch in the shoulder. And we gently move up and down. This takes time, but it's very effective. I do it. It's been great. And I've got a lot of mileage on this body. I've done a lot of crazy things and messing up shoulders and back and the knees. And it hasn't slowed me down at all because this thing has been a miracle worker in my life. Taking the elbows, sticking them behind you, and gently bouncing for a few moments. And then I'm going to show more soon, but on the DVD, Cellercise the Ultimate Exercise, I show some additional techniques where you lean to open up the shoulders and the back. And the moment you feel the stress or tension, stop, hold the position, gently move up and down. Allow the Cellercising to do the stretching for you from that point on. And then gently the other way. And we'll do more another time. But as you lift your arms up and gently twist, it's all in your upper back. If you twist down here, it's in the lower back more. So we can alternate up and down to increase that flexibility as well.
Okay, so that seems to be all the questions that we're going to answer. We'll get anything else that gets asked, we'll answer those as well.
Okay.
And make sure that you get those answered. So let's go over my routine.
Yep, let's do it. First thing to do is to learn to love yourself for where you are right now. It is critical. If you're not happy and you reinforce that, or you are fighting against losing weight or fighting against anything else, you are empowering that which you are fighting against. Don't fight against it. What we do is we want to see a vision of the person we want to become and hold on to the vision and communicate that with our body. Allow the body to respond differently to the conditions around you because of what you're doing within you. And it's not that, again, I've said this many times in my lectures, it's not that the conditions around you will ever change, but as you visualize, and the first step of faith, the ability to see things not as they are, but as they can become, you exercise that faith, you hold on to that vision, it grows into a desire. You nurture the desire with prayer, meditation, affirmation, proclamation, declaration. The desire becomes a passion. The passion compels you to action. The action creates end result. And again, it's not that the conditions around you ever change, but the conditions within you do, so that you start to respond differently to the conditions around you because you have a vision of the person you most want to become now. And so we start off creating the vision, and we can close our eyes, communicate it with your cells. Thank your body, which is imbued with an intelligence above and beyond what we often think. Our cells know how to create, maintain, and heal the body better than any doctor or health practitioner. We want to learn how to work with them, not against them. And that means we need to develop a partnership relationship. There are Hindus and meditation experts that know literally how to communicate with the body, and the body responds. Most of us in our society today take our bodies for granted. We don't really develop that relationship with our bodies. Well, we have a greater health potential. And I'm going to be talking more about that in the future. But part of that is to communicate with your body. Appreciate yourself for who you are right now. See the end result in your mind. Don't worry about how you're going to get there yet. Exercise a particle of faith. Just believe. See the end result in your mind. Hold on to that vision. And now start thanking the body. Thank the body for helping you to achieve it. Thank the body for helping keep you healthy. Thank the body for helping you to get to where you are right now so that you can start taking the steps and have the ability to take steps to achieve your goals or objectives. Now, we may never achieve it. Remember to enjoy the journey. See, whether we achieve it or not, our character will start to develop. As our character starts to develop, our ability to achieve it will be increased. And that's what we want. So appreciate who you are, appreciate your body, thank your body every day, and see the end result. Then we're going to open up bronchial tubes in the lungs. We need oxygen to burn calories and utilize nutrients. Real important. So again, most people only use the first 1/3 or 2/3 of their lung. So we're going to prime the body with oxygen. I explained this earlier in one of our previous programs, and you can look at that. But it's just like this. So you've communicated with the body. You've thanked the body. Gratitude. Pray. Thank your Father in heaven for what He's doing to help you to achieve your greater health potential. We all have it. So then, open up bronchial tubes and lungs. It's this one. Now, when you first start to do that, you're going to notice that the bronchial tubes in the lungs will probably be a little wheezy. You don't want to do too much of it because you don't want to get dizzy. There's a lot more oxygen in the bloodstream. You don't leave the mat. We're on the mat the whole time. The following day, for those who are just starting out, your bronchial tubes and lungs may be a little sensitive. That's common. You may feel like you're wheezy. That's common. In a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks, they're going more than like most of us, they will sound much different. They'll be much more open. It's a literal exercise for the lungs, but the cells need the oxygen to burn the calories. Okay, after we've done that, we'll just do the gentle baby bounce for a few moments, or a minute or two if you want. It's great. This is a movement that activates the lymphatic circulatory systems, gets everything primed, increases the oxygen, imbibes the blood cells with more fluid so they become separated, oxygenated, and energized. There's a whole lot of reasons this is very effective. And then we're going to start to do the, from this point, when you're starting off, we can rock side to side. If you lift your shoulders up and down and drop your hips, you're starting to loosen the lower back, the shoulders, the vertebral joints all along the back. It may look a little funny, but it works. You see dogs and cats roll around on their back all the time because it's helping with the vertebral joints in their back as well. So this one here loosens up. You can do the twist. This is the second most important physical activity I teach. The first being just the baby bounce or the health bounce. This gentle twisting here stimulates internal organs and functions, the liver, kidney, spleen, gallbladder, pancreas, adrenals. They're all gently being massaged as you move up and down. Twist side to side, you're loosening up the lower back. It's taking the colon and the intestines, putting them through a little washing machine. If you notice any pain, back off. The Cellerciser has been very helpful in exposing weaknesses or conditions. So just, again, go easy. I feel inclined to share this with you. We had a gentleman once who got on the Cellerciser, started to twist side to side, noticed a pain in his abdominal area, and it bothered him, so he stopped Cellercising. Several weeks later, he comes back, starts to do it again. The pain came back with a vengeance. It was a strong pain. It wouldn't go away. So they went to the doctors. They had a CAT scan. They found polyps in his colon. They were cancerous. They went in and they did an operation that was very successful. He calls me up just before Christmas to buy 5 Cellercisers for every one of his children. He says this saved his life. And so I just share that so it works. It stimulates. It helps to improve body parts and functions, and that's real important. And although exercise does that generally, I don't know of any exercise better or more gentle or more effective personally than Cellercise. Okay, so after that, then we can jog, we can do some running, and initially you may not lift your knees very high, but eventually you're going to want to be able to lift your knees higher, and as you get stronger, you can go a little bit faster. And, I'll go about this speed now. And I do it for about a minute. I see how many I can do in that minute. But you're going to start off gently. Just enjoy it. And then Christine, we had her starting as the Jamba walk, and that's great. It's working. You watch television. Do something where you can enjoy the Cellerciser in an activity you already like, whether it's listening to music, whether it's watching a television program, and then get to the point where you can do the Jamba Run. It's very intense. And then when you're done, just jog in place or jump side to side. Do something while you're catching your wind, then do it again. As I mentioned, I have a daughter who lost 10 pounds in 1 month. And it increases metabolism. Her metabolism got very high, which is not unusual. It did that with me too. When I was in my mid-50s, early to mid-50s, and I had to stop doing the Jamba Run as much because I lost too much weight. I dropped down to 3% body fat, and we didn't know why. I was eating 2 dinners at night. I couldn't put the weight back on, and so I stopped the Jamba Run. And for those who know the story, it took about a month to get my rear end back, and now I do it occasionally, but I don't do it as much as I used to. Then very effective. So that gives you an update as to where we are right now. If you have anything specific, I always suggest, or an issue or a health concern, consult with your doctor, or feel free to have your doctor give me a call. I work with doctors and health practitioners and trainers and physical therapists. Been doing it for many, many years. And if you have anything that you would like to share or discuss, feel free to write it. Feel free to give us a call. Again, our objective is to help you enjoy a better quality of life, have more energy, feel better, perform better, and to be able to reach your greater health potential. And so we'll see you next week. Feel free to bring any friends online that may have health issues or concerns, whether it's weight loss or sleep problems or stress or digestion elimination problems or whatever the issues are. Having been doing this for over 30 years now, there are many different approaches. We've shared some of them with you. There are a great many more in our DVD, Cellercise the Ultimate Exercise. I'll give you an update. I look forward to good news next week on our Mr. Rebounder app. And thank you for hanging in there with us. If you think you've been frustrated, I assure you, I've been pretty frustrated too. But we're getting close, and it should be ready. So I hope to have good news tomorrow afternoon. Thank you very much. Have a great week. Christine, anything else you wanted to share?
Yeah, most people are wondering, do these go live? And they go live, but then as soon as we finish it, they get saved and recorded, so you can find it in the feed on your main page. And I'll also, we share it on over to the Cellercise group if you've joined that group, and I'll put that on there for people to join as well again today. So if you did miss something today, this will post in just a minute, and you can go back and rewatch it.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you all. Have a great week. We'll see you again next week.